This is a Disney animated movie that I think I may have blocked out of my memory. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. I know that the live action Dumbo doesn't come out for another week and a half, but if you follow my channel, you know that the last Tuesday of every month is a haul video, and I am a creature of habit. I don't want to break that habit. I know I did break that habit around New Year's, but I had a very good reason for that, and I don't really want to switch when that comes out this month. So I thought, why not just do my Dumbo review slightly early? It's only going to be a week and a half, and I can do what I want on here. I just felt like doing the review now. I'm gonna do it now. So the 1941 original animated Dumbo from Walt Disney Animation. I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I believe I have seen this a long time ago, in a time long forgotten by me, because I remember watching this film and I remember when I watched this a lot of what happened, but I'm pretty sure I completely forgot that I actually did watch this before until I actually started watching it. Although I don't know, it's a weird feeling to know you've watched this and know you're gonna remember it, but then also knowing or thinking that you don't remember any of it and you haven't seen it before. But no, I don't know how to explain it. I just know that I've seen it, and I think sometimes I get Dumbo and Pinocchio mixed up, smashed together. It's very weird, even though they are two completely separate movies. The animation style is very different, and there is a tiny little talking sidekick. In this one, it is Timothy Q. Mouse, and in Pinocchio, it is Jiminy Cricket. They're both kind of consciences. Jiminy Cricket is more of a conscience, while Timothy Q. Mouse is a person. While Timothy Q. Mouse is more of the thing that pushes Dumbo to do what he does. Now, I really love this because, like most millennials and pretty much anybody that has grown up with Disney animated movies from the mid to late 90s and younger, even some people who watch more of the 2000s, the movies from 1940, starting with Snow White in 1935, starting from Snow White until a lot of the new, more recent animated films, I absolutely love. I am a huge fan of Disney. Disney is one of my absolute favorite things on the planet, and not because they own literally everything now, but I have been a fan of Disney for the longest time. So the animation style in this just felt very familiar, and I think that was one of the reasons why I felt like I knew it so well. The animators that worked on Snow White, Peter Pan, Fantasia, they all worked on, they interchanged between a lot of the early Disney films. Bambi even. While I was watching this, I felt very much like I was watching a couple of the short scenes from Fantasia, some stuff from Peter Pan, especially the map sequence is very reminiscent of when Peter, Wendy, when Peter, Wendy, John, and Michael fly into Neverland. You see kind of a map of Neverland, and the map of Florida when the storks are bringing in the baby animals looks very similar to that. And I'm not surprised, because a lot of the artists were kind of going in between the different films during their tenure at Disney's animation studios. And Fantasia was also made in 1940, which is a year before Dumbo, and Peter Pan was made in 1953, which is a little over 10 years, about 12 years after. So I'm not surprised that I had this feeling. And some of the animation, because all of this is hand-drawn, like a lot of Disney animated films were in the early 40s and 50s. They didn't have the cell animation, I don't believe, yet. I could be wrong on that. But a lot of this was hand-drawn, and the animation is so beautiful. My favorite scenes were some of the silhouette animations, which I was really reminiscent of Peter Pan. When Mr. and Mrs. Darling are getting ready, you see them through the window shades. In this, you see from Dumbo and Timothy's perspective of the clowns and the ringmaster talking behind a tent wall. And the way they do the animation of the shadow is really cool, especially when it's a character and they have something else on top. Like when one of the clowns who's playing the mother elephant during the firefighter scenes, you see that he has the mother elephant head on, but it's a very faint outline. And you still see his head underneath, which is not something that you would see normally in real life. You would still see the elephant head, but I thought it was a nice little touch, and it gave it a lot of little extra creativity, because I mean, talking animals and a talking train are totally real. And then a couple different things that I noticed throughout watching this that would probably not be in a lot of not only Disney animated movies today, but just movies and animated movies in general, is a lot of the workers at the circus were black. There were 0 white workers, and any other people that were shown, the patrons of the circus ringleader, and even the clowns are white. Although the clowns did have their entire faces painted white, but because they are probably performers in a little bit higher class, they are most likely white. But that's not something you would necessarily see in a lot of films today. The crows are based on a lot of black stereotypes.
What's cooking around here? What's the good news? What's frying, boy? Just look down here, brother.
And prepare yourself for a shock.
Which, it's very famous for that. Dumbo is very famous for that scene. I'm also very surprised that they showed an extended sequence of a mouse and a baby elephant getting drunk on beer, followed by a very trippy scene that seems like they're maybe intoxicated by a little bit more than beer. It also felt like something out of Winnie the Pooh's Huffalumps and Woozles, which I absolutely love because I grew up loving Winnie the Pooh, and the Winnie the Pooh ride at Disney is one of my favorites. Very good. I felt like that was kind of odd, a little bit different, but it was still really fun because it was something totally different than what you would see in a normal Disney movie. Finally, to wrap all of this up, I wanted to give a couple predictions for what I think the new live action remake is going to be like. So here are some theories I have based on just what I've seen in the 2 trailers that I have seen. A couple predictions that I have. In the animated film, it is all about the animals. There's very little human interaction, besides a little bit with the ringleader, some of the workers, and of course the clowns, because Dumbo becomes a clown. This one I think is going to be a lot about the interactions with the humans, and Dumbo may just end up being kind of a MacGuffin. If you don't know what a MacGuffin is, it's basically just a plot device. It's something that propels the plot. I feel like that's what Dumbo is really going to be as the character Dumbo, not necessarily the movie, but I feel like the movie Dumbo is going to be a lot more about the actors, the people, the real life people. Because it's live action, they have to do something to make it a little bit more interesting, and I just feel like Dumbo is going to be there and he's just going to propel the plot along, and I'm not super excited about that. I'm also not super excited about Colin Farrell's character because from what I've seen in the trailers, he is going to be very much like his father character in Saving Mr. Banks, who is really just a deadbeat father that has a sort of redemption arc at the end just to please the kids. I really hope it's not that way, but that's probably what's going to happen. I am excited for Danny DeVito.
Oh my god, Danny DeVito, I love your work!
And Michael Keaton. Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton, because it's Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton. Like, why wouldn't you be? I am very much guessing that both of them are going to be villains because Danny DeVito is the ringleader and Michael Keaton just has that villainous vibe about him. And Danny DeVito usually plays kind of a bad guy. Ooh, I want to watch Matilda now. Sidetracked. ADD. That is, well, actually, I do have one more thing, and this is probably going to be a little controversial. Not that every other prediction I've had made about this already has been a little controversial, but I am not sure how I feel about Tim Burton directing this. I was not a huge fan of either of the Alice in Wonderland movies that he directed, even though I do own the first Alice in Wonderland movie that he directed, but I haven't been a fan of a lot of his more recent works. Anyways, I don't know how much darker they're going to make this film because it is a pretty sad and dark movie. I do think they'll maybe take it a step further and have Dumbo's mom killed, which is very sad and very dark. And there's probably going to be something in there where they try to sell Dumbo for profit on something. I just don't know how I feel about it, and I don't know how it's going to go with Tim Burton directing. But I guess in 2 weeks or a week and a half, we will see. Let me know what you think about the original 1941 animated Dumbo, what your predictions are for how you think the new one will turn out, and you can get my Dumbo review in a week and a half. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate every single one of you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I'll talk all things movies, TV shows, film making, mystery, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!